SGA and JP13 duel it out, but the Wizards fall to the Oklahoma City Thunder 123-105. So we're going to look at the good, the bad, and the ugly from tonight's loss versus the Thunder. Next on Locked On Wizards.
You are Locked On Wizards, your daily Washington Wizards podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
What's good, everybody? It's your boy, Brandon Scott again. And your favorite podcast now has a newsletter. Introducing the Locked On Wizards Daily Newsletter, a one-stop shop for the ultimate team and league coverage delivered right to your inbox. Sign up for free at LockedOnDaily.com. That's LockedOnDaily.com. And start your day with the all-new free Locked On Wizards newsletter. Tonight's episode is brought to you by FanDuel. The NFL playoffs are almost here, but it's not too late to get in on the regular season action with FanDuel because right now, new customers can finish the season strong with $250 in bonus bets if your first $5 bet wins. Visit FanDuel.com to get started. All right, everybody, there was a duel out west tonight. SGA and Jordan Poole dueled it out, but ultimately, the same issues that bothered the Wizards haunted them tonight. And we lost the battle of the paint. So even though there was a nice duel going on between SGA because he was doing his thing for the Thunder, and Jordan Poole had an immaculate game for the Washington Wizards, but ultimately losing the battle of the paint lost his game for the Washington Wizards, amongst other things. Turnovers were definitely there also. So let's take a look at the team stats real quick because, again, guys, we lost the battle of the paint, and it wasn't even close. So give me a second real quick as I bring up the team stats. All right, let's get into this thing. So, all right, look at the team stats. When I say we lost the battle of the paint, rebounding, they out-rebounded us 63-57. Offensive rebounds, 19-13. Those 19 offensive rebounds led to 22 second chance points. Also, they scored 66 points in the paint, which there was a 30-point differential between us and the Thunder in paint points. Now, we all know the tale of the tape. Alex Sarr was out tonight, so Jonas Valanciunas was the lone center. Marvin Bagley III, hopefully he is fine. He went down with a knee injury. You can hear him on the broadcast that he was yelling. I mean, hopefully he's not an ACL tear. Hopefully he's not out for the rest of the year because he was one guy that definitely thought was a long-term piece here in DC, man, who played really good basketball for the Wizards, and it would be very unfortunate for him to go down, especially with a long-term injury like an ACL injury, man. So hopefully, hopes and prayers out to him. If you're a praying person, keep him in your prayers, man. So hopefully it's not a long-term injury, but we're dealing with our injuries tonight. Alex Sarr was out. Bilal Coulibaly was out. So let's get into the starting five. Obviously, Kyle Kuzma, he's getting closer to returning, but, his lack of scoring is definitely being felt. Bob Carrington went out early with an injury in the fourth quarter. So the injury bug has been a bug for this team all year long. So looking at the starting five, we'll start with JP13. Jordan Poole kept this team in the game for 3 quarters. Now, again, it was a tale of the tape of 3 quarters. Let's go back to the team stats and look at the difference of the quarters, man, because I feel like this was a very close game for 3 quarters, man. So we're waiting on it. Here we go. All right, so if you look at the tale of the tape for the quarters, we won the first quarter, 32-29. Then the second quarter, they got us by 7 points, and then we were even at 24 points apiece in the third quarter. So this fourth quarter was that killer for us. There was a 14-point differential between us and the Thunder, and it showed because that fourth quarter, they gained some momentum, and they just rolled. And then a lot of that, it had to do with obviously SGA because SGA was doing his thing tonight for the Oklahoma City Thunder. But we talk about our guy, man, Jordan Poole, 37 minutes tonight. So he led all Wizards in minutes. That's definitely an expectation for a guy who wants to be the guy in DC. And he capitalized. 31 points, 3 rebounds, but 7 assists. 9 for 20 from the field, 5 for 12 from 3, 8 for 10 from the charity strike, 2 steals, 1 block. And he did have 4 turnovers. But look, like I said, between him and Carrington, both of them had 4 turnovers. But they led the Wizards, 4 turnovers apiece. But like I said, his offensive output and the fact that he was very active and a big key contributor on the defensive side with 2 steals and 1 block. Jordan Poole, look, he definitely needs to get votes in the most improved player award winner this year in the NBA because he has played lights out basketball. He's played high level basketball. But he ain't the only one tonight. Jonas Valanciunas is another guy who's played high level basketball for the Washington Wizards. A guy who's been in a lot of trade talk, especially for going to the Los Angeles Lakers tonight. 12 points, 16 rebounds. I did not lie. 16 rebounds tonight for Jonas Valanciunas and 1 assist. 6 for 12 from the field and 0 for 1 from 3. 2 steals, 2 blocks, and he's always been very active, not only in offensively in the paint, but defensively. So Jonas Valanciunas is one guy where I believe that if you look at everything within the realm of mentor, he's been a great mentor for Alex Sarr. Now, if you look at his productivity, he has produced here in DC. So there are some people inside and outside the organization who say that they would not mind him sticking around very long. Let me rephrase that. See him stick around a little longer. But there are people obviously who think he's a trade piece. And obviously, the vast majority I agree with. He's definitely a trade piece. But look, you can't debate that he's been very productive. But I think he's definitely going to be a guy who's going to be shopped at the trade deadline. Bob Carrington, as I mentioned, hopefully his injury is not a bad injury. It didn't look too serious. He walked off the court, 14 points a night, so a better offensive output. Even though he only shot 4 for 11 from the field, but 4 for 8 from 3. For his 3-point shot 50% from 3, so definitely looking really, really good. 2 rebounds, 3 assists. Malcolm Brogdon, I would say a pretty good game. He's one of those guys where he's going to contribute no matter what. 12 points, 6 rebounds. Again, his rebounding numbers for a guard has been really, really solid, and 5 assists, shooting 5 for 12 for the field and 1 for 3 from 3. And Justin Champagnie, not his best night offensively. He's kind of cooled down as of late, but he's that one guy who, again, he gets very active in the paint. 8 rebounds on only 3 points, only 1 for 7 for shooting, 1 for 4 from 3. Did have 3 blocks, though. He's a guy who defensively, very, very good defensive player. He can't stretch the floor with 3-point shot. Very active with putting the ball on the floor and creating for others. And a guy who is, I believe he's a young glue guy for a second unit. Champagnie, just like Marvin Bagley III. Hopefully his injury, again, is not long-term, but both of those guys to me are long-term pieces in the DMV. All right, so, Keyshawn George, I'm about to say Keontae, Lord have mercy. Keyshawn George, man, better showing offensively. Shot 3 for 6 from the field, 3 for 6 from 3. 2 for 2 for the charity strike, 2 steals, 1 block. So we know what he can do defensively. But offensively, he is relegated to mostly a sharpshooter. But he's shown glimpses of a guy who could definitely contribute with the mid-range and get, very active in attacking the paint. Definitely want to see him do that a lot more because tonight he was just purely a sharpshooter. But him and Kispert are both guys who can definitely attack the basket. So I definitely want to see both him and Kispert be a lot more active attacking the basket, not just relegating, really just depending on shooting behind the arc, even though we both know that Keyshawn George and Corey Kispert both can be those sharpshooters. But you got to find other elements to your game where you can contribute. Corey Kispert tonight, 8 points, 3 rebounds, 3 assists, 3 for 9 for the field, 2 for 6 from 3. So we expect more from Corey Kispert, being that vet, being a guy who is the longest tenured Wizard up to this point. And a guy who signed an extension. We definitely expect, a lot more consistency as far as what he provides. And yes, he's coming back from injury. So, definitely give him another week or so to get, find his rhythm again. And I think that Kispert will definitely be all right. Bagley, man, Marvin Bagley III, a guy who has played really well in DC. 15 minutes tonight, but 7 points, 6 rebounds. I mean, he contributed. 1 assist, 2 for 3 from the field, 3 for 4 from the charity strike, and 1 steal. That knee injury, to me, hopefully is not too serious. I don't want to speculate, man, but worst case scenario, you're probably looking at ACL there. Just the way he was holding the knee, the way he came down. So hopefully it's not a long-term injury because I think he's a guy who can definitely play. He's a guy who can contribute. And then kind of the round under the rest guys. Jared Butler, 8 minutes played, 5 points. Johnny Davis, 0 point. So the rest of the guys on the team pretty much garbage minutes. But in short, guys, like I said, tonight was definitely all about the duel between SGA and Jordan Poole. Jordan Poole played really well for the Wizards tonight. And SGA is just one of those guys where you're not going to stop him. You can hope to slow him down. But, with Chet Holmgren being out, and, you got guys like Jalen Williams who played well. I know that was that moment in the fourth quarter between him and Jordan Poole. You can argue both ways. There was very physical. I think Williams was very physical with JP13. But JP13 kind of caught him with that, with a little slap. So, I think it could go both ways, man. It's kind of like the passing interference with Marshawn Lattimore for you Commanders fans. One was on, and the 2 was on him, but the other one was not. So that call could go either way. But like I said, it was a duel tonight, but ultimately, OKC just a better team. And they won it out tonight, 123-105. So like I said, definitely hope that Bub Carrington and Marvin Bagley III are healthy, man. Hopefully the knee injury to Marvin Bagley III is not a long-term injury. Hopefully, I'm definitely going to give him my prayers tonight. So like I said, hopefully it's not a long-term injury because to see a guy who has got, caught a lot of L's, a lot of criticism in Detroit and Sacramento, coming over from Detroit, he has played good basketball here in DC. And I think that if you give him more minutes, he's definitely going to produce. I think he's found his place here in DC. So a long-term injury is going to really take a hit for his career trajectory and what he can do here in DC. So like I said, we're dealing with a lot of injuries right now. Kyle Kuzma, he kind of made a comment on his IG post because I follow him on IG. He said that give him, a week or so, he should be back in action. So we're dealing with a lot of injuries. Hopefully, Bilal Coulibaly's back in the fold. Hopefully, Alex Sarr's back in the fold, because the Wizards are headed back into DC on a homestand following Christmas or the holidays. So like I said, hopefully these guys take the time over the holidays to get back to 100%, because again, we would be back at home, and home cooking, it tastes good. So hopefully the home stand does wonders for this young Wiz kids, man. So all right, there was a report that John Wall, yes, that guy, man, has made it known that he wants to make a comeback in the NBA, and he has slight interest from his viewpoint for the Washington Wizards. Should the Washington Wizards bring him back, or has that ship sailed? We're going to talk about that as a subject of the night. I'm going to give you my perspective, and then we're going to roll with that as a subject of the night. So let's get into that. But before we do, tonight's episode is brought to you by Robinhood. With Robinhood Gold, you don't need a silver spoon to eat up the financial favors of the 1%. Robinhood Gold allows others to get the rates and perks usually reserved for the high society. Now, the resourceful individual with Robinhood Gold can earn a very liberal rate of 4.25 APY on uninvested cash and be rewarded with a handsome 3% retirement boost on IRA account contributions. Robinhood Gold provides the privileges of the high net worth for any net worth. These generous benefits are now available for only $5 a month. That's right, only $5 a month. A new gold standard is here with Robinhood Gold. Sign up at Robinhood.com/gold. Terms apply. For product-specific disclosures, visit Robinhood.com/gold. Investing involves risk. Don't forget that. Rate may change. Gold membership is offered by Robinhood Gold, LLC. All right, let's get back into this thing. So the subject tonight, like I said, on X, aka Twitter, there was a report that John Wall wants to make a comeback in the NBA. Now, what with the Washington Wizards being the team that drafted him, and he found his most success with the Washington Wizards. Yes, he had stops in Houston and with the Clippers, but his heyday was in DC. He's still much beloved here in the nation's cap. But the question is, should the Wizards consider bringing him back, and in what fashion, or has the ship sailed? And I'm gonna say this: obviously, as a player, he's not gonna come back as a player, and if he does, he's gonna be the last guy on the bench. And it's not to say he can't still play, but obviously this is a totally different Wizards team than it was when he was here. This team's not close to competing. And I think that, and I kind of talked to a few people in X, and I get and I respect their takes about his leadership, or the perceived lack of leadership when he was a member of the Wizards. And a lot of the problems he's had in the locker rooms in Houston, and to a lesser degree in LA. But I'll say this: he was a guy that had a voice in the locker room when he was here in DC. Now, there was rooms, obviously, where there was friction between him and certain coaches. Friction between him and Bradley Beal towards the end. And obviously, there was a few years towards the end that he came in out of shape. He's notorious as having that reputation and spending some time at the Rose Bar. Now, saying that, he did give his heart to this team, this city, to the franchise on the court. Very productive off the court as far as giving back, much beloved in this city. But let's be real. This is a totally different Wizards team, totally different situation. And if you do consider bringing him back, it has to be in a role where he is strictly a mentor. And he's a guy who, here's the thing, though. Do I agree that there were certain things he did that rubbed a lot of people the wrong way in the locker room? Absolutely. I don't think anybody can deny that. He's much loved for what he did on the court. He's much loved of the charitable stuff he did off the court. But, there was times where he clearly rubbed certain people the wrong way. But I'll say this, too. When, a lot of reports, there was a story came out, about when his mother died, and the time that was a very rough time for him. And that was a time where, he showed up to camp looking like he was homeless. He's partying, and I'm not giving him I'm not making excuses, but, for anybody who's lost a parent, it's not an easy thing to deal with. And, I believe that had a lot to do with a lot of issues that he had at some point, especially later in his tenure. Now, there's no excuse for flashing gang signs and all that, but I think that if you look at reasons why people have been in trouble in the NBA around the league, is it better or worse than a lot of other examples? I mean, you've had a lot of issues with domestic battery. And if they're willing, and, teams are willing to give them a second chance. When you look at Miles Bridges with the Charlotte Hornets, when you look at, Kevin Porter Jr. with the Clippers, if you're able to give them a second chance, because, look, the domestic battery is a serious situation. But if the league is, especially, if they put in the work, as far as redeeming themselves and really working on themselves, do they deserve a second chance? And I think that to a certain degree, yeah. Even though what they did was horrible, if they prove to better themselves as people, why not? And if it happens again, not only do they need to not be in the league, they need to face charges and stop playing around. But saying that, the gang signs was not a good look for a guy who at the time was perceived to be a franchise player. But I'll say this. I think that personal loss, personal struggles, trials and tribulations, they change people. And I think that they humbled him. If you look at interviews, you look at certain things, I think that he very well could be humbled by life. And I think that he could take his story, his situation, and be kind of a really, a good example to these young guys. And that's why I'm in favor that if they do choose to bring him back, it should be in a mentor. It should definitely be in an advisory role. I think his playing days, as far as the Wizards, he's not going to get much playing time, if any. And, like I said, priority is for the young guys. The young guys and their development, their progression is the first, second, and third as far as in line, as far as the important factors is rebuild. So when it comes to what the priority is the young guys. Now, with other teams, could he play? It really depends on the team. To me, he wouldn't be brought here to be a player. Not to say he couldn't play, but like I said, the situation is different. But could he take the story of being a number one overall pick? A guy who found success here, a guy who had it, had it all, had a house, had everything, man. And now he's out the league. Could that be an example for young guys to be like, look, you've got to take care of yourself on and off the court. You've got to have a clear mind. And, and I think that his example could be a good example. Now, I understand a lot of people saying that he could be a detriment. And, to the lesser degree, you could, and that's what I'm saying. I think that the one factor is he has to prove. I think that if you even consider that, he needs to be brought in and he needs to have a conversation with the front office, with ownership. And I think that it needs to be deemed that he's a guy who's definitely been humbled by what happened in his career and in his personal life. So because, like I said, and I agree with the assessments that a lot of people have that, you don't want to bring a guy in who's going to be a cancer to the locker room. And on one hand, is a difficult situation because on one hand, he played at a high level here in DC. He did a lot for the community. Well, on the other hand, it's like you can't take away the fact that there were issues at some point. And he's my favorite Wizards player of all time. Him and Gilbert Arenas. And my top three is Arenas, Wall, Bill. And obviously going to be subject to change, hopefully in the future. But like I said, he played at a high level here in DC. And I think that, I made it known that to a certain degree, you have to get to a point where there has to be an olive branch between Ted Leonsis and John Wall. Gilbert Arenas brought guns into the locker room. And I'm not arguing that, you could argue, right, that bringing guns into DC, which is a federal crime, is a worse crime than showing, flashing gang signs, even though both of them have their merits. You don't want your star player flashing gang signs. That is unacceptable. But, they've had that reconciliation between Gilbert Arenas and the organization, even though Gilbert Arenas was under the previous owner, not Ted Leonsis, till the end of his tenure with the Wizards. I think that if you can reconcile between Gilbert Arenas and the Wizards organization, you could do the same with John Wall. So I'm 50-50. John Wall's my guy. I'm a big John Wall fan, but I'm also a realist when it comes to analyzation of basketball. And, he's got to prove that he can be a good voice if you even consider making that move. Because like I said, he was the leader here in DC. But, were there issues? Yeah. And I'm going to sit here and say there were more issues than most locker rooms. Let's be real. In most locker rooms, you're going to have issues. And not that he had the worst issues in the locker room than we've had overall here in DC. If you remember the year with Spencer Dinwiddie, we had nothing but fights. So, and John Wall was nowhere close to the organization. So, I'm 50-50. Like I said, I don't want to make a move that's built on nostalgia. Sometimes you got to close the door on the past. But if you do consider it, you guys let me know, man. You guys get in the comment section and definitely let me know what you guys are thinking, because I'm very 50-50 on it. To me, I don't want a detriment to anything that would harm the chemistry of these young guys in his team. But, like I said, he's got the connection. So even if you don't bring him back, as far as a mentor or an advisory role, I still think that you need to honor him in some way going forward. May not be this season or even next, but, definitely have a better tribute video than you did the first time around. And that's what so you guys get in the comment section and let me know, do you agree, do you disagree, and why? That is the subject of the night. I'm very 50-50. Like I said, I don't want to make a move that's built on nostalgia. That's because of a good time in Wizards history, because John Wall is one of my favorite Wizards, if not my favorite Wizard of all time. You don't want to make a decision built on the past, because sometimes, and most of the time, the past needs to stay in the past. But like I said, he does have a special connection to the city and this franchise. So you guys let me know. So we're going to get into comments like we always do. But before we do, tonight's episode is brought to you by FanDuel. The NFL playoffs are almost here, but it's not too late to get in on the regular season action with FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook, because right now, new customers can finish the season strong with $250 in bonus bets if you win your first $5 bet. FanDuel has so many ways for you to pick up the dub. I love betting on which players will score a touchdown or how many points each team will score. It's thrilling, right? And I'm the type of guy who I like the over and unders. So, if you're not a person who likes to do the money line, over unders is your thing. They have that at FanDuel. So look, just visit FanDuel.com to join today. That's FanDuel.com for your chance at $250 in bonus bets. Make every moment more with FanDuel, the official sportsbook partner of the National Football League. All right, everybody. Like I said, appreciate everybody for rocking with your boy tonight following another loss for our Wiz Kids. So, like I said, guys, I'm going to try to wrap this thing up around we got about 10. So I'm going to try to, I hate to be selective, man. You guys know me, man. I like to answer every question, but I got to bring some of these episode times down, man. So, let's see. Invalid says, damn, bro. Right now, it looks like we are going to have another good 3 quarters of basketball in the fourth quarter collapse. Yeah, I mean, we've got to finish games, man. We start them good now. We played we went toe to toe with a really good team, arguably the best team in the NBA, and they're without Chet Holmgren. So it was a really good game for 3 quarters, and in the fourth quarter it just unraveled, man. And I think the injury really took a toll on the guys, man. And it's just because we're already dealing with injuries, and then you lose Marvin Bagley III for hopefully not a bad injury, and Bub Carrington went out. He's been dealing with kind of small injury bugs here and there. So I'm with you on that. They gotta finish 4 quarters, man. They had to finish 4 quarters. Locked on Law, what's up, man? Says, but go from down 4 to down 20 in less than 5 minutes. I'm with you on that, man. Like I said, they've got to keep their foot on the pedal and keep that momentum flowing, man. Let's see. Goldo Beard, how you doing tonight? It says, all I want for 2025 is Bagley to get healthy. I'm with you on that, man. Like I said, Bagley has put so much work into bettering himself as a player here in DC, and it's so unfortunate to see him go down with an injury. Goldo Beard also says, what's up, guys? Happy holidays. Yep, happy holidays, everybody, man, for Christmas, Hanukkah, and and Kwanzaa. Definitely hope everybody has a blessed holidays, man. So let's see. Bayer Man 12 says, wishing Bagley the best. Yep, same here, man. I hope he is not a long-term injury. No Bricks New. And this was actually what I'm covering tomorrow, guys. But No Bricks New, my guy. He says, rumor is nobody wants Kuz. Shaking my head. Question, which vet do you want to keep for leadership? Tristan got some run, 2 quick blocks, but we know he can pass and shoot. He might be special. Can't wait to see. Good question, man. And I think, when it comes, Anthony Gill's that guy on the bench. And Jordan Poole, he's really shown that he can be that leader. Now, does he have some growing to do still as a leader, as a player? Absolutely. But Anthony Gill has shown to be that leader. Now, looking at Kyle, because like I said, we're going to talk about it tomorrow. Because I already put a question out. I put a poll out on YouTube, so definitely let me know what you guys think there. But it's a very real situation, because to a certain degree, and I kind of had, and it's a person who watched the show. Much love, man. But you may know that we kind of talked about how this compares to Bradley Beal's situation. And Bradley Beal was a guy where we waited too long to trade him, and we gave him too much power, especially with giving him that no trade clause. You see the same situation with Kyle Kuzma. When we gave him the opportunity to say whether he wanted to be traded or not last year, that was a bad move. And we had a good move last year to send him to Dallas. He said he didn't want to go, made the comments that it wasn't the best situation. It wasn't a team that was ready to compete, and they went to the NBA Finals. So, like you said, Kyle Kuzma is a guy who's productive. Does he have his issues? Yeah, inefficiency and other things. But he's a guy who's been a really good player here in DC. But here's the thing, it's a situation because the value's not there anymore. You brought the value down for two first rounders to 1, and you're still not getting a lot. So with that price tag, it goes from what? Really good team friendly deal for the Wizards, but not so much for other teams, because at $23 million, you may not want to add a guy who, yeah, he can add a boost in points, but what else? What else are you getting? And on a contending team, you're looking at a guy who's probably going to be the 4th option, if not 5th option. So do they go ahead out of desperation to make a move? Are they instead of the first round? I mean, it's like I said, we're going to talk more in depth about it tomorrow, but it is a situation, because do you still entertain deals? And if you do, what are you really realistically expecting in return? And I still think they can get a 1st round pick. You're not going to get 2, but you're looking at a 1st round pick. But you're looking at prospective teams like What teams are you looking at? Because is Sacramento still looking for his services? How much interest does the Indiana Pacers have? Is LA ready to bring him back? So a lot of questions. Like I said, we're going to dig deep tomorrow. It's going to be Kyle Kuzma Day tomorrow. So appreciate you, No Breaks New. Always appreciate you, brother. Let's see. Let's see, guys. Like I said, I gotta be selective. So I'm gonna try to knock out 3 or 4 more comments. I hate to be selective, guys. I wish I could be on here forever. Let's see. Well, not forever, long enough to get all the questions out the way. Let's see. DC Onion, my guy, says JC, he definitely went off in the locker room at halftime. Oh yeah. I seen their body language when the team came out. Yeah, I mean, like I said, there's leadership here, and it kind of goes back to No Breaks New. Who do I expect to step up if you lose Kuz, if you lose Jonas Valanciunas? In the short term, you see Michael Brogdon, because the thing is, he's getting interest. And you can argue right now he probably has a little more interest in Kuz. But look, here's the thing: Kuz can play. He can play, but the thing is, what can he contribute? And that would really tells you what the market thinks of his value. He's a scorer. He's a guy who can definitely score at a high clip. But the other factors, defense is going to be one thing that's going to hit him. Efficiency is going to be one thing that hits him. So I'm a guy that I definitely like Kuz, man. I like his game, but I'm also looking at this from a business standpoint, which is it behooves you moving. Because if you hold on to him, then the question is, like I said, we're going to talk about it tomorrow. But if you hold on to Kyle Kuzma, then long term, you've got to make some moves, and he's not going to be started the whole time going forward. Prior to the rest of the year, yeah, at the 4, because we don't have the future 4 on the roster. And with Marvin Bagley the 3rd's out, a guy who could potentially be that guy at the 4 if you move him from Kuz. So I hate to tell you, there could be a situation where he may not be traded. And so then you got to look at the situation like, where does he fit with the remainder of his contract? Or if he plays better next year and brings the value up, then that's a whole nother question. So DC Onion also says, Cam Whitmore, I'm with you, man. He's still in the G League for the Houston Rockets, man. Let's see. Because he's a guy, man. He was a guy that I wanted in the draft, even though I am a big fan of Bilal Coulibaly, and I think it was definitely the right choice. But it's kind of like Christian Gonzalez and Emmanuel Forbes. I was, I'm just saying. Jose's crisis corner says Ace Bailey or bust. Yeah, man, it's definitely a crisis corner. I can't say it's Ace Bailey or bust, man. I can't even think that. I'm gonna say this. I do like Ace Bailey as a prospect, but he may not even be the best player on this team. I mean, Dylan Harper to me is a guy to look at. I mean, Cooper Flag, obviously, I'm looking at him. And another guy, Trey Johnson. Look, guys, take a look at Trey Johnson. He's a guy who definitely, if we're looking to add a 2-guard in this draft, look, Trey Johnson or Dylan Harper, who knows? I mean, if you get number 1, just for star value, just for finding a face or co-face with Bilal for the franchise, Cooper Flag is probably your guy number 1, but it's not to say that, look, Ace Bailey, he can ball. So I'm not taking anything away from Ace Bailey. He can definitely ball, but why not, find a situation where you can get the best player available who also fits? To me, Dylan Harper fits, man. Trey Johnson's a guy, if you missed the top 3 and you're picking 4th or 5th pick, Trey Johnson's guy, I'm running to the podium to get. You can argue the same thing about Demean at BYU. And then in BYU, talking about BYU, man, look, DeBonsa, man, he's definitely a guy you should consider next, the year after that in 2026 NBA draft. So a lot of good talent coming out of the draft. So I think that from 1 to 5, you can't miss in this draft. From 1 to 5, you're going to find a player who's going to be a high impact player for your franchise. All right, guys, I'm going to try to knock out a few more. Here you go. Jose's Crash Corner says, love John Wall, but he's been done for years. Yeah, I appreciate you picking. I appreciate you take, man. And you can't argue that the ship probably has sailed. And that's why I kind of asked you guys, like, I'm a John Wall fan. I appreciate what he's done. If you look at a scenario where you bring him back from mentorship, I get that, but he's got to prove that he can be that mentor. You know what I mean? But I think that even if you don't bring him back, you still consider some kind of a reunion. Pop out a bobblehead, bring him back to be honored or something. I don't think he was honored the way he should have been honored. So you bring him back to the fold somehow, reconcile with the ownership, and see if you definitely get him back in the arena in some fashion, man. So the ship has probably sailed. Let's see. The Unknown Ism says, although Wall is better than Johnny Davis, I think his ship has sailed. Yeah, I'm kind of with you on that, man. Like I said, I'm starting to think that, I put up on X, bring him back, but kind of thinking about it, and kind of talking to people, man, I'm a 50-50. He's got to prove that he can be that guy, but unfortunately, I think that ship had probably sailed. Let's see. I'm gonna try to knock out one more, guys. Hate to miss anybody's. Oh, here we go. I'm knocking out these last two. All right, Brandon, this is from W Mans. How you doing tonight, man? Brandon, how do you think Vuk coming back affects the team's ability to win? All honesty, it definitely he can play. He's a 7-footer who can stretch the floor, so it definitely gives the team more capabilities. I think you have to definitely see what you have in Tristan Vukcevic. You have to see what you have in him. With him being a second-round pick, we haven't had a second-round pick that actually showed up in decades. So just the fact that he showed up says a lot. You have to see what you have in him, and then, whether he's a long-term piece or not, but you have to see what you have in him. So I think it'd have a really good effect on the team just from a talent standpoint. Miko Pomeroy. All right, man. I thought JP deserves some Kinder team, non-attacking team, to be honest. We'll see, man. Like I said, he definitely is going to have some interest. I don't think so much this year. I mean, I know Denver was looking at him, but I think that what people want to see, just what the sample size over the course of one season is. We all know that JP can play. He can definitely play. In my opinion, he's played at all-star level. Now, with this team being 4-23, that's going to be the one factor that's going to keep anybody from getting an all-star berth. Kyle Kuzma last 2 years played at all-star level and did not get the consideration because of the team performance does impact all-star votes. So will he be moved to a contender? Time will tell. I think either way, I think that he will be successful on another team. And I think that, he can definitely be successful here. So it's a good situation, not only for the Wizards, but for Jordan Poole and his career trajectory, because he, with his work ethic, with him proving that he can, definitely put the work in to be a better player, he's going to get some notice. So we'll see on that front. Poolabali says, give Poole some help or some rest. Yeah, man, he's putting in some work. He is definitely putting in some work tonight. All right. So, all right, guys. W Man says, love how JP is super consistent. He's never seen JP locked in like this. Absolutely. He's definitely should get votes for most improved player. And if they didn't harp so much on overall team performance, I would say he needs some all-star votes. I mean, because he's played well. He's played great. He's played immaculate this season. And he's definitely shown what his true value is, which is he's a guy who could definitely be a key contributor for this team going forward. In saying that, he's going to get some trade interest. And so just buckle it down, because the better he is, the more interest he's going to get. All right, so all right, guys, and then this comment's gonna be the last one, and it really kind of expresses what I want to tell everybody. It said it's from the Unknown Ism. Says Merry Christmas and Happy New Year, everybody. Yeah, absolutely. Happy New Year's and happy holidays. I'm gonna see you guys before the New Year, so I'm not ready to say Happy New Year's yet, but happy holidays, everybody. From happy, Merry Christmas to everybody. Happy Kwanzaa. Happy, Hanukkah, the whole nine, man. Hope everybody has, definitely spend some time with the family. Definitely get your mind right, because we got a long year of Wizards basketball. So definitely enjoy yourselves, guys. And like I said, I will try to put something out tomorrow. It's gonna be an early video, so I will release it later. Because tomorrow is Christmas Eve, but Christmas Day I will be taking Christmas off. It's family time for me, and I definitely recommend it be family time for you guys. So like I said, I'm very reachable, so you can reach me at X or here on YouTube. Not everybody has that situation. So if any of you guys who watch or listen to the show don't have family in an area, don't have family, or you're not celebrating the holidays with anybody, I will be that guy that's very accessible. So definitely don't hesitate to reach out to me if you need somebody to chop it up with, talk to, or just hang out for a few hours. I'm that guy. So like I said, not everybody has that family situation. So if you need somebody to talk to, please do not hesitate to holler at your boy on X or here on YouTube. All right. So, all right, everybody have a blessed holidays, and I will see everybody tomorrow. I'll be putting the video out, but definitely everybody enjoy your holidays. And let's see, the next game up on the schedule, everybody, is the Hornets on Thursday night. So like I said, I'm gonna try to do a preview tomorrow night for the Hornets game on Thursday, and then obviously we're going live after that game on Thursday. And we also have a special guest on Friday. We have Wizards insider Troy Halliburton, who's going to be on the show, man. So let's get some inside info on the Washington Wiz, man. My guy, Troy Halliburton, will be on the show on Friday. So, all right, everybody. Like I said, my guy, Merrill Garrett, Merry Christmas to you, man. Absolutely. My guy, Merrill. So you guys enjoy yourselves, man. So I'll see everybody tomorrow. Everybody have a blessed night. Hail to the Wizards, and peace.